thanks for joining me for another video. This time I'm going to show you how to make these little books that are for Post-it notes. Okay, these are a couple that I've already made. Here's another one. And here's another one. All you're going to need to do this is a Post-it note, paper, and any sort of decorations or embellishments that you want. So we're going to start with our piece of paper, which is cut to 3 1/4 by 6 3/4. Okay, I chose to just go with white for this one. Okay, first thing we're going to do with this piece of paper is we're going to score it at 3 1/4. Then we're going to take it out, turn it around, and score it again at 3 1/4. Okay, and you can see, I don't know if you can see the lines, but that's going to leave you with a little bitty spine. Okay, so we're going to fold those over. Very much like so. And then we're left with a little book. Okay. Now for mine, I decided that I wanted to go around the edges of my paper with a little chalk. So I'm going to get a little piece of paper and I'm going to chalk up my edges, and I'm going to just go around the edges, mostly off the page, with a nice light green. Okay. Not too many people use chalk anymore, but I still love it. I just like the subtleness of it. I was going to ink it up, but I couldn't find a color that matched my papers that I liked, so I just chose to do it this way. And then, just for a little bit of extra, I'm going to get the color off there. And then I'm going to do a tiny bit of baby blue in the same way, but in like a little bigger of a circle, so it's a little bit less. You can barely see it, but maybe when I get the other paper on, you'll be able to see it because there's blue in my pattern paper. So can you see what we're left with? Hopefully you can. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and get this out of the way. And then the next part is we get our pattern paper, and mine's pre-cut. This one is cut to 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and this one is cut to 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I want to put this one on here. Okay. Oh, that's my cat, sorry. He likes to hear himself talk. Alright, so now I'm left with this. I want to take my ribbon and I'm going to fold it over the edge like so. Then I'm going to cut the excess off. Okay. Then, just to make it stay in place a little better, I'm going to run a little tape around. It's not going to hold it permanently, so I'm still going to need to make it stay, but this is just to make it stay while I poke the hole through it, because otherwise it's not going to work. Okay, and then whenever I make cards that have ribbons on them, I like to seal the edges a little bit just by adding a little heat to them. Makes them so that they don't fray, okay? This one's a little harder. I burned it a little on the back because it's felt, but you can't really tell. So then I'm going to take my hole poker. I don't know what it's really called, but I call it a hole poker. And I'm going to poke right through ribbon, which is not very easy apparently. And I just like to move it around and tug a little so that it keeps the hole. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a hole there. I'm going to stick a brad in there. And then open it up. And there we have it. Okay. Then my next step is I decided that I would like this to pop off the card. So I'm going to stick some pop thingies on there, some foam adhesive, sorry, on not the easiest things in the world to work with. Alright, then take those all off. Alright, then we take this and we're going to stick it right in the center of our card, or our book, or whatever you want to call it. And I don't know if you can tell, but now you can see how the green sort of helped add to the card. Okay, so that's that. Then we need our Post-it. And this is about a half a sheet, or a half a stack of Post-it. I like to save a little money, so when I do these, I make them just with half a pad. I also like to glue the bottom sheet down so that they stay, because the adhesive that's on the Post-it is not very strong, so we're going to need a little bit extra just to hold it in there. Line it up, and voila. Last but not least, I had this little tiny piece of paper left over, and I couldn't bear to throw it away, and I knew that if I just held on to it, it would just sit in my box. So I decided to decorate the inside a little bit by sticking this in there, like so. And there we have it. A little Post-it notebook. Okay, go back and show you some of my other ones. Here's another one that I made that looks just like that. And then here's some of my first ones, just playing around with papers. Alright, thanks for stopping by.